Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I am glad you are here. Today, we are going to talk about three important topics in language teaching: the importance of focusing on form, the role of error correction, and the difference between first language learning and second language learning. These concepts help teachers create more effective and meaningful learning experiences for their students. Let's begin with the first question. Why should a teacher focus on form during class? A teacher should focus on form because a student need to notice how the language works while they are communicating. Instead of teaching grammar in isolation, focus on form allows students to pay attention to grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation within a meaningful context. This approach helps students understand not only what they want to say, but also how to say it correctly. When students see language form in real conversation or activities, they are more likely to remember and use them accurately in the future. Therefore, focusing on form creates a balance between communication and grammatical accuracy. Now, let's move on to the second question. Why must proper error correction always be in a teacher's mind? Error corrections is an essential part of language teaching because mistakes are a natural step in their learning process. However, teachers need to correct errors carefully and at the right moment. If teacher interrupt students too often, learners may lose confidence or become afraid of speaking. On the other hand, if teacher never correct errors, students may develop incorrect language habits that become difficult to change later. A good teacher knows which errors should be corrected immediately and which ones can be discussed after the activity. The goal is to help students improve while maintaining their motivations and confidence. Finally, let's answer the third question. Why is the difference between first language learning and second language learning essential? Understanding the difference between first language or L1 learning and second language or L2 learning is very important because they happen under different conditions. Children usually learn their first language naturally by interacting with family members in an environment where they hear the language all the time. They are not usually taught grammar rules directly. In contrast, second language learners often study the language in a classroom with limited exposure. They may already have knowledge of another language that influences their learning, and they often need explicit instruction, practice, and feedback. Because of this difference, teachers must use teaching strategies that are appropriate for second language learning, instead of expecting them to learn the same way children acquire their first language. In conclusion, focusing on form helps learners develop both fluency and accuracy. Effective error correction supports learning without discouraging students, and understanding the difference between L1 and L2 learning allows teachers to choose the best teaching methods for their learners. Together, these principles contribute to successful language teaching and better learning outcomes. That was all for today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found this discussion helpful. See you next time.